Everyone makes mistakes, but some people make mistakes that are, I mean, their thought processes are just, oh, come on, we're all thinking it. You had one job. Just put mustard in the mustard pump and the mayonnaise in the mayonnaise pump. The pumps are even labeled. How did you do this? How? Okay, before I lose my cool completely, let's take a look at even more people who had one simple job and somehow still screwed it up. Road painting. It looks like it'd be a simple job to get right every time, be it marking straight lines on straight roads, painting curbs, or writing words. Not even hard words at that, basic words, because drivers using the roads need to be able to process them quickly. For example, thanks to the big bright yellow letters used here, drivers can clearly tell this is a sus stop. I think whoever painted this has been playing a bit too much Among Us. That said, whoever painted this sign in Scarborough over in England needs, ironically, English lessons. No NT. No NT. Big 2-year-old learning to talk energy there, though I reckon even a 2-year-old might have figured out that this isn't how you repaint the curbs. Is this a prank? Was there a sign out warning people not to park their cars here because the curbs were being painted? And the owner of this car ignored it? Or did this painter just wake up this morning and choose violence? Well, whatever he did, this next road painter woke up, took one look at these palm leaves in the road, and decided moving them was not in his job description. What makes it even better is that instead of fixing the mistake, somehow someone else came along and added reflectors along it. No questions asked. When it comes to architectural design, it's important that hallways, pathways, and places people will move along are free of obstruction. This is a memo that the architect of this building clearly didn't get. I'm still struggling to wrap my head around this. I'm assuming the escalator was installed first and then the wall, so someone genuinely didn't question blocking this escalator off entirely, or they built the escalator in after the wall and just called it a day? Now, I've done as much internet digging as I can on this image and have found nothing on its origin, and I simply have to know if this is real or if it's just very good Photoshop. It infuriates me either way, but I'll get more sleep tonight if there's even the slightest chance it's not real. Speaking of Photoshop, please God tell me this is. I really need to keep faith in two things here. One, that the mechanics repairing this car didn't hike this jack up so high it crushed the car, and two, that whoever made this jack wouldn't allow the lift to go that high. From all the blurring and inconsistent details, I'm fairly convinced this is a Photoshop job designed purely to give me anxiety. Good job. Consider your goal achieved. I hate you. I hate you so goddamn much. Now, I love nature. I like to think I know a lot about it. Heck, I've made hundreds of videos about every aspect of nature. But if you ask me to keep a plant alive, no, sir, not for a second. But if you ask me to paint a wall with a plant near it, I'd at least have the sense to move the plant, unlike whoever managed this absolute god-tier example of a smooth brain in action. Was it really too hard to move the pot? Was it? Honestly, if I was responsible for this, I'd die of shame. Looks like that plant already did. Not only am I terrible at taking care of plants, I'm also cursed when it comes to home improvements. Sure, I can change a light bulb or replace a fuse, but if you need me to mess with anything involving moving parts, I am not your man. And neither is the person who installed this door handle. Sure, from a glance it looks like a well-installed handle, until you realize it's been put on the wrong way round. Either that, or this is a door that's designed to never close. Okay, as bad as I am at DIY, I think even I would have been able to get this one right. I mean, I say this, but there are other more obvious examples of things I think are super obvious that some other people have no clue about. For example, did you know that not all doors are the same size? I'm not being facetious. I'm asking a genuine question. Did you know that not all doors are the same size. Please type in the comments below, are all doors the same size or not? I'm gonna say about 99% of people just said, yes, I know all doors are not the same. Why only 99%? Well, because this Reddit user who ripped out the front door of his home and bought a new one without measuring it at any point genuinely assumed all doors are the same size. I swear, some of you need school, or Jesus, or both. You hungry? Me too, all the time. Shall we order something? Hey, can't go wrong with a classic pepperoni pizza, right? Right? Oh, sorry, my bad. I briefly forgot what this video was. It seems the pizzeria heard these patrons order one pepperoni and somehow took that to mean one slice of pepperoni instead of one pepperoni pizza. Hello, police. I need to report a crime. A pizza crime. Well, it's criminally dumb. Hello? Alright, pizza may have been a stretch, but how about a cheeseburger? Just meat, cheese, and a little bit of lettuce in a bun. Not hard at all. Just put everything in the bun. Okay, when I said everything, I didn't literally mean everything. And somehow, this poor customer got a printed label that I'm guessing was meant to go on the box, not in their bun. But I guess it could have been worse. The ink could have been printed directly on their bun. Like this. I like to think I'm benevolent in my understanding of mistakes. I mean, I do at least try to figure out how things could possibly have happened, but this has me stumped. Okay, well, that doesn't happen often, so let's assume this was oversight because nothing could possibly get weirder than... Hold up. Is that a McDonald's burger box filled with tartar sauce? Wait, someone posted online they ordered a cheeseburger at McDonald's and just straight up got a box full of tartar sauce instead? Alright, okay, I'm digging deep. I'm guessing someone else ordered that apocalyptic amount of extra tartar sauce, which usually goes out on the fillet of fish, and mixed the boxes up. Hey, it's a one-off, that makes sense. You know what doesn't make sense? That it happened to someone else who ordered chicken nuggets. Never mess with a man's nugs. Never, never, ever. With the way street engineering is designed, workers and contractors constantly need to access subsurface elements, so they install things like manholes and easily liftable concrete lids. These occasionally overlap with pre-existing elements, like tactile paving, but that's okay, because they're essentially just cutting a piece out of the concrete and can put it back the same Why have they done this? There are exactly two options here. The worker had a 50% chance of getting it right. I'd say maybe he was blind, maybe that's his excuse, but that's tactile paving. It's designed specifically for the blind. Okay, calm down, calm down. It's fine. It can be switched back around. It's not like someone laid asphalt over Oh, okay. Well, now I don't know what to say. Asphalt is usually scraped into place by hand, though sometimes a specialized roller can be used to distribute the hot tarry substance evenly. Even so, how do you miss or not miss this? Okay, well, if it was laid by a vehicle, I can sort of understand how they might have missed it. It looks like a complex machine. Maybe they were distracted, and manholes are kinda small. This, on the other hand, that is an entire car. A machine can't have done that. Someone would have literally had to manually lay asphalt over this car as they were laying the road. Wait, this looks weirdly blurry and the texture is wildly inconsistent. It's Photoshop. Woo! Okay, I think I just felt some of my sanity return there, though I don't think it'll last long. If you hadn't guessed already, I'm pretty competitive. How about you? Do you love the feeling of coming in first? Second place doesn't feel as good, but coming in thirst is worse. Yeah, thirst. You know, thirst place. What, thirst place isn't a thing? Then please kindly explain this. I'm not entirely sure what happened during the metal making process here, but it clearly happened between third and first. Wait, if there's a thirst place, does that now mean there's a third place metal out there somewhere? God, if there is, I'm happy being a loser. On a hot day, nothing beats the heat like a delicious scoop of ice cream. Although if you're ordering from this place, I'd double check what they're making it with. The sign says mango and the color looks like mango, but it's an avocado. I mean, I guess an avocado and a mango are a similar shape. They're even a similar color on the outside and have a large stone at their center, but that's definitely an avocado, not a mango. Is this ice cream shop trying to gaslight its customers? Or is it that whoever made this sign genuinely did not know the difference? If it's the latter, I really don't envy that guy's taste buds. Now, this may sound odd, but I have a personal hatred against turnstiles. I always seem to get caught in them, or they're stiff and I am heaving my way through them. I just find them impractical, though perhaps not as impractical as this. There's no walls or stalls on either side of this stile, so what's it doing there? Did someone forget to remove it? Or was it meant to go in between stairs and the doorway to that toilet? Like, I want answers, but at the same time, I'm happy to just... No, I'm not happy. That's a lie. This is infuriating for reasons beyond my understanding. Just take out the turnstile. Now, there's nothing wrong with just doing your job and clocking off, no extra effort involved. Doing exactly what you're paid to do, not a crumb more, isn't a crime. But if I was the one whose job it was to mow this lawn, I might have thought about moving this big orange cone in the middle of it, because whoever did, didn't. And when they moved it from the spot, the problem became evident. Initially, I thought this was so dumb it had to be Photoshop. And then I discovered an image of a similar scene not a minute later. Who just leaves cones on their lawn like this? Psychopaths? The answer can only be psychopaths, mainly because I don't have another answer. Are you familiar with Sid the Sloth from the movie Ice Age? He's a sloth who's adorably inept in every way with wonky teeth and eyes too far apart. The feats have made him a particularly popular celebrity in the world of German ophthalmology. Wait, he's not? Then who the heck is this meant to be? Oh, someone just made the decision to install this image of a woman looking in one direction next to a mirror, and in doing so has created the most unsettling advert for glasses in the world. Now, if I decided I wanted to design a children's play area, my first concern would be safety. I'd make sure the swings all had seats that supported younger kids. I'd make sure nothing was too far off the ground, and that slides went all the way to the bottom so kids didn't fall out of them. What, does that last one not sound like a relevant concern? Well, thanks to whoever designed this slide, it is. What were they thinking having the end raised 4 feet off the ground? Or was a section at the bottom missing, and this kid, in all their infinite wisdom, decided to go down it anyway? Whatever the reason, I'm glad I'm not the one at the other end of this lawsuit shoot. When it comes to toilet humor, I'm all for it. I mean, you've heard some of my jokes. I'm a big fan. Huge. But this is too far. I don't know how someone installed this toilet seat upside down when, there's a giant hole in one part of the seat and classically not in the other. Okay, just calm down. I can see how maybe you might get confused during the installation here, but this is just unforgivable. Which designer decided a ground floor toilet needed floor-to-ceiling windows in direct eye line of the toilet itself? Floor to ceiling. Oh, thank God there's a door there. I wouldn't want anyone in this section of the bathroom seeing what every other person walking by is getting an eyeful of, from not one, but 2 sides. This is just unholy. Speaking of unholy, whoever decided to ice this cake was clearly possessed at some point. I don't just say that because they decided to badly ice a Jewish menorah onto this cream cheese mousse cake. No, I say this because instead of icing the famously 6-pointed Star of David onto the cake, which anyone who identifies as Jewish will tell you is the religious symbol of Judaism, they've instead iced a 5-point pentacle, which has been known throughout history to represent magic, the occult, and the devil. So kind of the opposite of what Judaism is going for on a whole bunch of levels. You ever forget important dates? Your mom's birthday, your friend's anniversary. It happens to the best of us, as at least one calendar-making company found out back in 2018. 28 days in February? That looks pretty normal, with the exception of the 22nd of the month being missing. I thought that this might be a strange leap year mechanic, but no. The guy whose job it was to plan out the days of the calendar at a calendar printing company forgot the 22nd of February exists. Wait, does that mean every date after this was printed on the wrong day? Okay, if you owned this calendar, can you let me know? I'm genuinely intrigued to find out if a calendar making company got the majority of dates wrong, because that wouldn't just be a mistake. That's a level of incompetence I didn't even know existed. Do you remember being a little kid and doing those mazes printed on the back of restaurant menus or pamphlets? Weren't they fun? Now, let's do one together now for old time's sake. All right, so we need to get from here to here. All right, let's go up, right, down, left, down, right, down, left, down, right, up. Dead end. Okay, maybe back down, left, down, right, up. Damn. Down, left, right. Wait, hang on a second. There's no way to get out. What, did the director of Bloodborne make this kid's maze, or did someone forget to check the maze was actually winnable? Whatever, let's try another. Let's start here, and is this a joke? Are they mocking us? Because it sure feels like it. I understand that menus are designed for young children to understand, but this is just insulting, no matter what age you are. If you're a customer-facing service worker, you have both my respect and my deepest sympathies. I know how horrific customers can be, but someone tell me exactly what this guy did to deserve having his bagel cut like this. All you had to do was cut it in the middle. I can only assume this guy was acting full Karen for someone to slight him this passive-aggressively. Valentine's Day. No matter how you feel about it, shops, stores, and businesses love it. It's an opportunity to boost sales with some overpriced, heart-printed products that'll be forgotten about in less than a week, or just put straight in the trash depending on how fast your crush rejects you. Although a worker at this store decided to forego the lovey-dovey merch and took the "surprise your Valentine" message on the boards a little more literally. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that if I walked toward my crush with a hammer in tow, they'd be so surprised they'd probably call the cops. Maybe I should try a different store. These guys have some stalls labeled with Valentine's messaging. I wonder what kind of gift. Okay, this is somehow worse than the hammers. Either that or this is the stall for all the loners on Valentine's, if you get my drift. No, clearly someone just forgot to change the messaging over when they moved these products around. No one is actually amorously knocking on their date's door with an armful of cucumbers and hammers, I hope. I'd like to think I'm not an anxious person. There's not a lot out there that gets my heart pounding with good reason. But this elevator, oh my god, I think there might be a button in this mess that just straight up delivers you to hell. Whoever built this thing just had to make sure it had a button for each floor. Why are there 2 buttons for floor 5? And where's floor 3? And where the heck are the mystery buttons meant to take you? I think I'll just take the stairs. Back in 2016, the action role-playing video game Grim Dawn was released. With the edgy art promising reviews, people were excited to play it. Then they got it to the character creation screen. You had the option to make your character male, female, or hardcore. Okay, I'm fully in favor of scrapping the gender binary and just letting people identify as levels of game difficulty. I personally identify as legendary. What's in my pants, you ask? Doom. Okay, disappointingly, Grim Dawn wasn't actually trying to subvert gender constructs in any way. It turned out this was just a glitch that accidentally lumped the difficulty settings with the gender settings. Still, from this day on, I declare that I identify as legendary. My pronouns are mayhem. Now, personally, I do not care what your pronouns are or what bathroom you use. As far as I'm aware, it's none of my business. But what I will say is this. This is my business. Oh, this is so my business. As someone who uses public men's restrooms regularly, I can honestly say that they suck. Urinals are especially hellish, if not for the smell, then for the splashback. So aside from wanting to share this nasty experience, I have absolutely no clue why a designer decided to install this urinal in the ladies' bathroom. But what I'm more concerned about is why it's in full view of the door. Even in the men's, they're usually placed in a corner or behind a wall for a little privacy. What was the thought process here? It makes no sense to me. Let's just banish all urinals. Problem solved. If I'm paying someone to install something in my home, be it plumbing, electrical, or furniture related, I expect the person installing it to know what they're doing. That's not me setting my expectations too high, is it? Because if I hired someone to install a kitchen sink and came home to this, I think I'd be well within my right to complain. It's not like the sink is at an angle or slightly off. It's been installed the wrong way round. I wanted to make a funny little sinking feeling dad joke here, but honestly, I'm not even mad. I'm just disappointed. If you've ever lived in rented accommodation, you know how hit and miss landlords can be. Some are good, others, well, the word entitled doesn't do them justice. Many will find ways to cut corners to make it seem like they're performing the required maintenance needed to make a space livable. And one landlord trick for this is solving all problems with paint. Mold? Paint over it. Roaches? Paint over them. Light switch? Paint over it. Electrical outlets? Hey, slap a layer of paint on it. I couldn't tell you how strange I find this behavior, but the crowning glory of it all has to be this. This landlord painted over the entire security panel for the house's alarm system. Why would you not paint around this? I get you might be in a rush, but surely it takes less time not to paint over things like this. But hey, what do I know? I'm not a landlord, though even I can tell they probably found a way to blame their tenants for this. All right, what's the default juice? No, I didn't stutter. What's the default juice? You know, the juice you drink that's the default flavor. Are some of you saying orange, maybe apple, cranberry even? No, I'm talking about the default juice. This default juice specifically. What do you mean default isn't a flavor? Someone printed this carton, filled it up, and it made it all the way to the store where someone put it on a shelf for us to buy. At no point did anyone say, hey, that's not right. So it must be right. So once again, I'm asking, what's the default juice? Okay, clearly some sort of coding error in the printing machine caused this carton to lose its label, and it wasn't picked up in quality control. But to say I'm curious is an understatement. What do you think the default juice is? Let me know down in the comments. Donuts. You can't go wrong with donuts. Nothing in the world could put me off donuts, especially when they look as good as these cherry cake ones. There's simply no way to… Hang on. What does the store mean, boneless? Have there always been bones in donuts? Have we just been pronouncing them wrong this entire time? Are they really bone nuts? No, thank God. It looks like the store clerk has somehow forgotten donuts aren't made of meat, and so don't require a boneless sticker. But still failed to recognize this, and so labeled every single packet of donuts in this pile as boneless. Great. Now I can stop thinking about what a donut bone would look like. Would it be on one big circular bone, or would there be a lot of smaller bones making up the whole? Hey, either way, I hate it. Okay, I've been overestimating humanity. Let's go back to something simple, like counting. If I gave you a grid like this, and the first two numbers of a sequence, like 1 and 2, how do you think the rest of the numbers would fit into this sequence? Probably like this, right? As it follows the same pattern down. Nice and easy, right? Not if you live in this apartment complex, it ain't. Why have one continuous pattern when you can just attach a random mailbox to the wall and assume this won't annoy anyone? It would have taken absolutely no effort to just install this as one big block, but why did they have to be so difficult? You might remember in part 2 of this series, I lost what was left of my sanity looking at this ring on an induction stove. How someone misaligned this, I'll never know. What'll also elude me, till the day I die, is how someone installed this stovetop like this and just called it a day. Not a single one of these 4 elements here lines up. One I can sort of understand, but 4 times? 4 times in the same stovetop? No. This is willful incompetence, weaponized incompetence. It's not even my stove, and I want to raise a complaint. Well, we made it through another episode. Which of these simple jobs do you think was messed up in the most excruciatingly annoying way possible? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to ring my therapist and my mother and my priest.